um, Tesla FSD full self-driving Q&A questions and answers if you guys have any. I've had mine for about a week now, not quite, and just continuing to learn about it and experience it. Absolutely amazing. I'm coming from a big Ford truck, believe it or not, so I kind of went to opposite ends of the spectrum and just was kind of tired. I didn't need the truck anymore. I used to have it for a lot of construction work and everything I was doing, just woodworking, and also would haul around my boat when we lived down at the beach for a while because I love to fish. And I don't do any of that anymore. And my truck was getting to where had about 83,000 miles on it and was really due for a lot of upcoming service. And I got a quote on some of those things, and it was like $7,000 plus tax, And I was like, oh man, I really don't want to dump all that money into this thing. And it was driving just looser and all that stuff. So it's still plenty of miles to go. Great truck. But I was like, I'm going to look at something a lot more convenient and just simple, just trying to simplify my life. And I was able to literally get this Model Y, the Juniper, the 2026, brand new, for less than my truck trade-in value was, which is absolutely amazing. So anyways, one of my favorite features, especially when it comes down to the convenience factor, is the full self-driving. So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, on Carmel Road near Highway 51, and I've been self-driving all over this place. And yeah, just absolutely love it so far. No, I mean, pretty much zero issues with it. Knock on wood. The only issues I've had, and really it's more of like a convenience thing, is just when I'm in parking lots. Sometimes it'll get a little confused, and not even like confused where it doesn't work. It just takes a route that I necessarily wouldn't take to get out of a parking lot or to find a parking spot. So every once in a while, I'll just tap the brake and take over. I got it in Tron mode, by the way. My son loves the Tron mode, so so that's why the blinkers sound that way, and a few other noises and settings and everything. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's working great. I love it. Just absolutely love it. It's so convenient, um, peaceful. Like a lot of people, I'm 43 years old, so I kind of grew up on the verge of tech and everything. Whereas some of my friends are a little older, like, dude, I would never let it drive me around. And then my younger friends are like, cool, awesome, you got a Tesla. Like, not even thinking about the full self-driving and worrying about it or anything. I've told a lot of people it's just like cruise control, in my opinion. So, like, uh, you know, technically I'm not like a cruise control type of guy. Like when I would drive my truck, I almost never did. But then after a couple years, I started having to drive down to Columbia, South Carolina quite a bit. And I would find myself starting to use the cruise control and really, I had like the Ford Raptor, so it had a few of the bells and whistles that some Ford trucks don't have. And I would start to use cruise control and do like the adaptive cruise control and be able to set the speed and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, this is really convenient. And then it had the feature where it would keep it from going like veering outside the lane if like to a certain extent. It would kind of let you know, and then it would kind of steer it back in. And I appreciated that feature as well. It's kind of annoying when you would switch gears or switch lanes without a turn signal because it'd give you that bump, but that's part of the system, right? So anyways, coming to the full self-driving with Tesla, it's absolutely amazing, and I've equated it to the same thing as that adaptive cruise control, just got more to it. It can do more than just cruise down the street and give you a bump if you're going out of your lane, right? So it's actually going to drive you. And I think when I've used that analogy with a few people, like my Uncle John is about 10 years older than me, and um, he was like, no way I would let it drive. And I'm like, well, do you use cruise control? And not even trying to be a jerk, just like devil's advocate, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, it's basically the same exact thing. It's just doing more than keeping your speed and your distance from the car in front of you. And okay, yeah, that makes more sense, you know. So, anyways, I'm taking it here to the Charger here in South Charlotte and Ballantyne. So, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you're in the market, this video is more for people that are just like, you know, what's the full self-driving all about? Some people like, duh, you know, this is nothing new, and you kind of have like two camps. Whereas I was in the camp, you know, a week ago before I had my Tesla, of yeah, I heard that like they can self-drive and that's coming, but I didn't know how advanced it had gotten already, and the fact that you can literally have them self-drive you in at least North Carolina right now. I think pretty much everywhere. And then the guys at Tesla also told me that in April, don't quote me on this, but it sounded like it was a pretty sure thing that in April in North Carolina, they'll be shutting off this camera right there that keeps an eye on you. And you know, you're not going to be able to sit here and sleep and let your car drive you around, but it won't be as crazy, if at all, in terms of like keeping your eye on the road. And what I've noticed, and I don't know if this is documented or not, but I heard a couple people say this, and what I've noticed is that depending on the conditions and how congested it is, how clear the road is marked and everything, I'm actually going to disengage it and we'll keep going for a little bit, just so I can keep the video going, because we just got to the charger place here. Um, let's see, let's plug in a new location. We'll have it take us to, it's in that trip, kind of show you, turn this blinker off, kind of how it works. Have it take us to, let's see, looking for something like somewhat far away, but not overly. I'm going to have it take us to the Matthews supercharger instead, which is about 15 minutes away, so I can keep the video going and Q&A here. All right, so Tesla supercharger locations, and there's the one I want. So we'll go there, and then once it's got it in there, all you have to do is just tap that for your self-driving. Let's see what it's going to do here. I don't know if it's going to turn around. Hope not. I might keep it going if it's or force it to go. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we're self-driving again. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on this, I'm happy to answer them. And I'm going to get a phone mount that kind of like goes up here to where it can give you a little bit more of like the double view back here. But for now, got the camera in hand, and let's see. I want to show you. I'll show you a few things while wait for anybody to answer questions. So you're in self-driving mode, right? And if you click there, you have different speed profiles. So this is on 14.2.1. It's kind of like the upgraded software that just came out. And so first off, you have these speed profiles. So if I go standard's going to be like 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, roughly. If I go hurry, it's going to be up to 10 miles per hour. Mad Max is 15 miles per hour over. And then it goes the other way as well. So you've got 5 miles per hour under, and then I'm sorry, chill is like right at the speed limit, and then sloth is going to be 5 miles per hour under. So I've already noticed that maybe it's just me, but I've had quite a few people tailing me, even in standard mode, when I'm going just 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. So you'll see it's 40 here. It's going to try to stay around 45. There's like a lot of other settings you can set in terms of the variance of like more or less speed over the speed limit. I think it's by default, or the recommended range is like 40%. Um, but I think once you set those profiles, it kind of like locks that stuff in. And then the cool thing is you can say, so it knows we're going, like where we're going, and it'll have destination options for going there. So it knows we're going to a supercharger, and it's going to have, if I want to park at the actual charger that we're going to, or in just the parking lot itself. And of course you can say curbside as well. So I'm going to leave that how it is. So you can see like that camera picked up, I was looking at the screen a little bit too much. So it starts flashing blue like that to tell me to look at the road. And if it's really wanting you to pay attention, it'll tell you to just kind of like touch the wheel and move it just a little bit. And then it knows like you're coherent basically, and paying attention. So yeah, those were new that just came out. Pretty cool. And then let me check and see if there's any questions yet. So anybody who's just joining, ask any questions you want about the full self-driving on Tesla. This is the Model Y, the Juniper remodel. It's 2026. Hello, Phantom. How you doing? Thanks for sending some comments my way. And let's see what else. Let's go. I think I can pull up the software update and we can talk about a few of the. So here's the release notes. So we talked about the arrival options. And remember, guys, I'm not driving my car right now. I'm literally just sitting here. And it's doing all of this, which is pretty amazing. So arrival options, we just went through those. So depending on where you're going, street, driveway, park, curbside, charger, like other options there. And then let's see, speed profile. So we just talked about those as well. That was part of the update. And then UI improvements. So I think that this is pretty common from my understanding, where they will update more and more things that it recognizes. So, you know, when we go by a speed limit sign, we've got one coming up, you'll see it appear in here. There's a little bit of traffic, so it might take a second before we get there. But as soon as it sees that speed limit sign, it's gonna say 40 miles per hour right here. And so yeah, there it is right there. So little things like that get added to the UI over time. And also, this was really a big improvement in my opinion, that the start self-driving button that I pressed in the beginning there was not there before. You could tap your right little spinner here, dial here on the steering wheel to start or stop or engage or disengage full self-driving, and that was convenient and I like that. But when I was test driving the Model Y that I had for like 24 hours, when I test drove one at the first time, it had already updated the software, and so it had that button there. And when I first got in mine, I was like, hey, where's the button? Because I was just used to using that for 24 hours. So it was nice to have that back when I got, so we're going on the interstate here, which is kind of cool. I think it's actually the first time maybe that I've gotten on the interstate with it and full self-driving. So we'll do that live. So we're getting on 485 here in Charlotte, coming off of Johnston Road. I'm sorry, Ray Road. Just gonna try to get over one more time, knowing that this lane ends. And it's 70 here, so I suppose it'll take it all the way up to 75, just depending on the cars that are around us and everything. Kind of crazy. So yeah, they added that button. That was another improvement. Brake confirm. So it used to be before the 14.2 update, because really this is 2.1, which is a little bit different. It's just got a few tweaks on 14.2 that they made. addition to the features that were already released. So most of these were released on 14.2, and 14.2.1 just came out with like a few more tweaks, right? So brake confirm was something they just updated, where it used to be, in order to start the self-driving, you had to tap on your brake or hold the brake. I didn't have a Tesla when that was a feature. So one or the other, it says it right here. And so that's no longer needed. So I could actually disengage this pretty quickly by just tapping my brake. You can disengage it by moving your wheel enough, but you got to really like move it, and then it doesn't know whether it needs to correct you or not. Like I personally do not use that option because it gets a little wild, especially when you're going fast. So the best way, from my experience, for me personally, to disengage is to just tap the brake. Another thing that I didn't know before, but now I know, is that like when you pull up to a stoplight or a stop sign or something and you're in full self-driving, you can give it a little bit of a gas, like push the gas just a little bit, and it'll just make it be a little bit more aggressive, because sometimes it'll stop at a stoplight or stop sign like before the pedestrian walk, like you're really far back. And naturally when we're driving, you don't want to coast through stop signs or whatever, but like, it makes it a little bit more natural, like how I would drive personally, if I give it a little bit of a go, if I feel like it. If not, I just let it do its thing. It takes a little bit longer at a stop sign than probably I would, but also I don't have to do anything, so who cares, right? Um, and then the full self-driving supervised. So I think that just goes through like some of the things that it's updated. And really that's more up here. And from what I understand, when the 14.2 first came out,